Everyone, my name is Kristin Hayes and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we're going to be making this pretty Christmas card using some technique, forget what it's called. It's with alcohol and the stamping blends on vellum, so to get this really pretty background on this. So let's get started. I have a piece of Evening Evergreen. This is going to be our base. It's cut at 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4. Then I have this layering piece of, it's called the Gold and Rose Gold 6 by 6 metallic specialty paper. This is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Now this can be found in the annual catalog, and I'll show you quick. It comes with rose gold paper as well, so that's very pretty too. But I think this gets overlooked, and it's actually very pretty. Then I have a piece of the Tidings of Christmas. This is also in the annual catalog, and this is the Tidings of Christmas, and it comes 6 by 6, and this is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. So we're just going to adhere that right on to the gold piece. Let's see, make sure I get it lined up right. And then I have another piece. This is still the Tidings of Christmas, and this is cut at 4 inches by 2. We're just going to put that right across the middle here. Oh, there we go. And then I'm going to adhere this to the base just because everything else will be going on top of it, and that just keeps it all together so I don't lose pieces. All right, so there we go. So we'll put that aside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work with this piece of vellum, and this is cut at approximately 4 inches by 4 1/2, but what I did is I just made it big enough. This is what we're going to be cutting out. So whatever piece you want to work with, if you want a whole background piece, you know, do it that way. This is a die from the Delicate Baubles dies, and these are really pretty. So you've got these cutouts, and then these. This says Merry and Bright, and this says Joy. And then it coordinates with the Bright Baubles, and this is sold as a bundle. And this is the stamp we're going to be using with the Merry and Bright. So let's get started with our vellum. So what I'm going to do is I have 3 colors of blends, and they don't all have to, like, they're all greens, but depending on what your project is, you can use reds and yellows or blues and yellows, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to start with the dark soft succulent first, and I'm going to start with my brush tip, and I'm just going to color in, and you can color this way or rounded like I was, or however you want it to go. And then we're going to come in next with the light Evening Evergreen. Just filling in some spots here. And I want more of the dark color to show than the light, so I'm going to save my dark Evening Evergreen here for last and just fill in all of the spaces. Now every time you do this, it's going to come out a little bit differently because you're not going to color the exact same way every time. And I'm just filling in the white spaces here. I don't need to go all the way to the edge for this because we are cutting out, but I'm just making sure I'm going to get everything I need to get. I'm just going to hold this over to make sure I got everything. Yep. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull in another piece of scrap grid paper here. And I've got one of our spritzers, and it's filled with alcohol. So let me grab it here. You want it to be at least 91% alcohol. If you use the 70 or 73% that's more easily found, then this technique isn't going to work for you. At least I found it didn't work for me. This I just got at Walmart, so it's not too hard to get. So I've got that in my spritzer here, and I'm just going to spritz my vellum till it's wet and it starts to run just a little bit. Now, I've seen other demonstrators do this technique with a paintbrush and alcohol or different ways too. This is the way I found it worked for me and that I like the effect. So you can play around with it and see what you get. So I'm going to use my heat tool to dry this, but I'm going to hold it pretty far up instead of close like I do with embossing, because I don't want it to completely run together and I don't want to get the vellum too hot. Now, you can also, I've seen people come in with a water painter now and just flick it and add some water spots to it too. But I kind of like the way it looked like this, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gold emboss over the top of it. So I've got my Versamark here. Let me get a smaller piece of scrap. There we go. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Let's do it this way since it's a bigger stamp. Make sure it's covered really well. And then we're just going to stamp this right now. I'm going to stamp a little bit off just because we're cutting it out, so it doesn't matter, just because I like the coloring over there a little bit better. And like I said, this will come out different every single time you try it. All right, so now I'm going to do my gold embossing powder over the top. Hopefully it was dry enough so it doesn't stick everywhere. It's probably way more than I need. It's definitely way more than I need. Okay. Alrighty, so we'll funnel that back in. And now let me take a look at this. We'll just blow off some extra. I've got a little bit right here that I'm going to brush away with my finger. And now I'm going to heat emboss so the gold will come out. All right, that's all set. We just need to cut it out now. So I'm going to bring the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine up. All right. Just make sure I have this going the right way here. Let's see. All right, let's run that through. And there we go. So now we have our pretty ornament. We're going to put it on, now this is just a piece of basic white, and I just cut it out beforehand. I'm going to do my sentiment actually before I put it on the white. And I'm going to use the Merry and Bright. Again, we're going to gold emboss on here. All right, so let me get the Versamark back out. Let's see if I can line this up. That's pretty good. All right. So let me just sprinkle some more gold emboss powder. Tap it off. I love embossing. I go through a lot of embossing powder. You think it's never going to run out, and then I'm just going to get the extra off of here. That might have been really close to the camera. Oops. There we go. All right, let's heat that up. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do is use some mini dimensionals to put this right across, embossing powder everywhere, to put this right across the middle, and I'm going to use the minis. Alright, so we'll just put it on right like that. Oops, that's over too far. Let's fix that. There we go, that looks more centered. So now what I did, it's a little bumpy, but I don't want my adhesive to show, although I do have to say on this technique, a lot of times with vellum you can see the adhesive. It doesn't really show very much when you've got the blends on there too. So I'm just gonna, and it doesn't have to be white you're putting this on. It could be any color you like. I did one the other day, over evening evergreen, but it was just a little dark for my liking, so I went with the white today. So now we're going to put this on here. If you want, see how it's coming up right here? If you want to just the tiniest amount will hold it down. I don't know if you could even see that. Sometimes I'm out of frame. And then you can't see the adhesive on here either. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Like that. And then the last step we need once we get this on is just our pretty ribbon. There we go, center that. And then this is just the Simply Elegant trim that's in the annual catalog, and it comes with silver and gold. We're going to use the gold today. We're just going to make a quick bow here. Let's twist it. Let's see if I can get it without twisting it too much. Whoops. All right, let's try that again. Totally lost that one. Sometimes with my nails, it's hard to... This is going to be big, but we'll fix it. All right, we'll just pull that. And you can just fuss with it to get it the size you want. Just make sure you pull it tight with this twine or trim. All right, so we're going to use a little glue dot. And just roll it up. This is a little bit bigger than the one I did on my sample, but that's fine. And then we'll just place it right here. So that is it. We are all set. Thank you so much for watching. Here's the one we made, and here's our original. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did. And please give a like and a comment down below. Thanks so much, and happy Thanksgiving if you're watching this before Thanksgiving. Thank you.